Pro Wrestling Weekly presents Today in Wrestling History, October 20. On this date in 1996, WWE held its In Your House Buried Alive pay-per-view. In the main event, The Undertaker defeated Mankind in a Buried Alive match. On this date in 1997, WCW Monday Nitro aired live from Biloxi, Mississippi. In the main event, Scott Hall defeated Scott Steiner. On this date in 2002, WWE held its No Mercy pay-per-view. In the main event, Brock Lesnar pinned The Undertaker in a Hell in a Cell match to retain the WWE Championship. This has been Today in Wrestling History, October 20.
This is Jim the Anvil Neidhart of the Hart Foundation, and you're listening to Pro Wrestling Weekly with Fearon Derry on 1490 WBCB, baby. Yeah!
Welcome back to Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com. During the break, got the chance to talk to Ed from the Northeast, giving us a little look at the local scene. He wanted to pass along that coming up next Saturday, the 27th, there's a fundraiser going on with the WWWA, and that's up in Souderton, Pennsylvania, up at the Fire Hall. See if I can pass a little more information along on the Pro Wrestling Weekly Facebook fan page as I can get it across to you before next Saturday. And he also mentioned, and this was something I found out at the Trenton show last night, actually. It's amazing how quickly time flies along, that Monday Night Raw is going to be in Philadelphia on Monday, December 17th. Of course, a week before the holidays, Christmas and all that. And WWE actually... they let us know, and just for you, the fans, because I'm that generous, they did give a pre-sale password, and I'll put that up on the Pro Wrestling Weekly Facebook fan page as well. Definitely a way to kind of get you on over to that if you haven't already. Certainly a good one there. Taking a look at some more news and notes. I mentioned earlier, return to Redneck Island. That's right. Hall of Famer Steve Austin, he has announced via Twitter that the second season of Redneck Island, which I think Austin's kind of like the Jeff Probst of the equivalent Survivor. It's, I guess, like a lot of comparisons that it's gotten. But it will premiere on the CMT network on Saturday, November 10th at 9 p.m. Eastern. Of course, CMT, the Country Music Television Network, I believe is what CMT stands for. Redneck Island, starring Stone Cold Steve Austin. That's coming up Saturday, November 10th. Also, WrestleMania, well, they made Miami $100 million. That's right. WWE issued a press release on Monday to tout that WrestleMania 28 had a $102.7 million economic impact on the city of Miami and Dade County in April. It was up $40 million from the economic impact that WrestleMania 27 had on Atlanta. So that can only make the North Jersey and New York area feel good, as WrestleMania 29 will be coming to the MetLife Stadium, of course, April 7th. This coming April 7th, 2013. And I believe tickets for that go on sale coming up in a couple of weeks. I want to say also on Saturday, November 10th. Yeah, that's right, and I'll certainly be trying to make my way into that as well. Taking a look, sticking with WWE, taking a look at Raw. Well, this is certainly an issue. It's not really a secret, but only slight improvement for the ratings. It went up 1/100th of a point. Went up to a 279, up a tick from the 278 the show drew last week. The biggest issue, though, not surprisingly, the third hour. Viewership dropped from just over 4 million people in the first hour to 3.8 million in the third hour. So almost 200,000 people, about 4% of the people tuning in, couldn't or didn't want to hang for the 3 hours, which I know it's a little bit more complex than that, Nielsen ratings, all that stuff. But regardless, viewership dropped by 181,000 people from the first hour to the third. If it was only 2 hours, the drop would have been less significant. It dropped by maybe 50,000 people. So the ratings would have shifted a little bit, and it wouldn't have been nearly as would have been higher than, or even higher than it was last week, as opposed to that minimal tick. So WWE, will they get the message? Will they kind of retract or contract a little bit as far as the amount of hours that their programming is? I don't know. It's probably about as likely as the NHL contracting some of their teams, especially since they have all their labor squabbles, which that's a whole nother story and a whole nother show probably for another day. Also, after a follow-up from the update from last week, of course, Tammy Sytch, former Diva Sunny, well, she is expected to and has made her way to go to a WWE-sponsored rehab program following her court appearance on Tuesday, according to WFSB.com in Connecticut. Sytch appearing in court, attorney requesting that she be sent to a Pennsylvania facility, and WWE made the arrangements to drive her to the facility, and they're putting it on their tab as, of course, her being formally employed by the WWE as part of the wellness program. They have no problem footing the bill for former employees who may need some sort of rehabilitation. And Sytch actually announcing a little bit later this week that she will be entering the facility for 3 months, quote, not because I'm drinking again or hit rock bottom, but to get myself to the place I need and want to be. She said, I'm well and happy, looking forward to a new chapter in my life. And we can only hope so. I mean, we've had her here on the program before, so always looking for good things for those who have been on the program. And no exception in this case for Tammy Sytch. Also, an interesting return to the ring, which, if you saw Saturday Morning Slam about little under 3 hours ago, you would have seen the Great Khali back in the ring. He showed up on Tuesday at the taping in a match that was taped for this morning's Saturday Morning Slam show. Khali had been out since he underwent surgery to remove a tumor from his pituitary gland back on July 26th. And here it is just under 3 months later. And not only is he healed, but he is back in the ring. So that's certainly good to hear. Speaking of injuries, or in this case, illnesses, Rey Mysterio, well, he finally spoke out, albeit briefly, as to why he hasn't been on TV the last couple of weeks, despite advancing in the number one contender tournament for the WWE tag titles. Mysterio tweeting on Thursday, would like to apologize to all the fans out in Cairo, of course, Cairo, Egypt, for not being able to attend the tour due to a serious illness. The SmackDown roster and select members of the Raw roster are doing a 3-day tour over in Cairo, Egypt. And Mysterio adding, really feel bad for missing this one, but promise to make the next tour enjoy. Sounds like a little more than the touch of the flu that Michael Cole referenced on Raw on Monday. And it's still questionable as to whether Mysterio will be on Raw for what is scheduled to be the finals of the number one tag team contender tournament. That, of course, would challenge Team Hell No at Hell in a Cell 1 week from tomorrow. It's either going to be Mysterio and Sin Cara or Rhodes Scholars challenging Daniel Bryan and Kane for the tag titles. And, of course, the other match that I didn't mention earlier for Hell in a Cell for next week, Randy Orton against Alberto Del Rio. So all good stuff going there. Also want to let you know, coming up in, 4 weeks from now, I want to say, Saturday, November 17th, Papa Shango. He'll be over at George's Cards and Collectibles over at the GCC there for autographs and photo opportunities. That's Saturday, November 17th from 3 until 5 p.m. I'm 99.9% sure that that's at the New Falls location. And I'll have that confirmed in just a second. Of course, for more information, you can call 215-943-2475 or log on to georgescollectibles.com. I'm sure if I didn't know, Doug will probably be sending some sort of a message in about 3 seconds to let me know, yeah, that's exactly the case. Yes, there it is. That will be, yes, at the New Falls location right over on New Falls Road, right over by the Bucks County Tech High School. Not too far from our location here at the station. Papa Shango in the full garb, which should be interesting because it's been about, 18 years since we've seen him in that garb. Of course, we've then seen him go from Kama Mustafa to The Godfather, but that should certainly be a good one. Papa Shango. Looking forward to that coming up in a couple weeks, courtesy of George's Cards and Collectibles. Man, they do great stuff over there. Anyway, I mentioned earlier Jerry Lawler. Once he's fully healthy, what broadcast team would you like to see lead Raw? Me personally, I'm going with the majority. I'm thinking you got to go Michael Cole, JR, and Jerry Lawler, at least for your lead team, and then you can use SmackDown to kind of develop the next up-and-comers. Kind of almost, not necessarily like a minor league, but, almost like a AAA is equivalent to the major leagues in baseball, something like that. Kind of develop somebody who can either, obviously make themselves more established, more comfortable, or be able to fill in. Now, the only drawback being that SmackDown's taped, Raw is live, so it'd be a matter of having to try to get opportunities for them to get used to that live experience. And that's something that, I don't know, obviously needs some sort of development. I don't have all the answers. I have some of them. And Joseph chiming in on the Facebook fan page, of course, WBCB Pro Wrestling Weekly, saying sometimes you have to move on, of course, referring to Jerry Lawler and Jim Ross's age, both of them being in their 60s. He said, but please, 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 not with a Josh Matthews. I'd rather have Craig DeGeorge back. Wow, that is, man. That's going a little bit old school there, Joseph. I certainly appreciate it. I mean, if we're going that route, what are we going to bring back Mel Phillips to do the in-ring announcing? No, that probably wouldn't be good. But I would like to see the Fink back. Definitely haven't seen enough. All we see of the Fink these days is on the WWE website with the whole Outthink the Fink game that they have, which is basically a trivia type thing. All right, the one thing that jumped out at me on Raw that really bugged me, because, it definitely, well, it hasn't been mentioned as of yet, and I'm surprised nobody else got this. All right, WWE had footage from a story that I had mentioned earlier last week. John Cena as an honorary captain for the New York Jets football game, and WWE, in their infinite wisdom, on Monday Night Raw, played the Monday Night Football theme in the background to the footage of the Jets game and John Cena at it. What better way to say, hey, don't watch us, Monday Night Football's on, and then, have people flip the channel. Maybe that's why they lost 180 some odd thousand people as far as viewership, is they all flipped over to Monday Night Football realizing, let me see how the game's doing, and next thing you know, that's pretty much where that's at. Looking at some other Facebook feedback that didn't really provide much of either. So I'm just going to go ahead and let that go. So, next week, unfortunately, unless something changes, I'm not going to be on the air, but I'll have another video webisode coming your way. And, I knew I was forgetting something. Brodus Clay. Don't want to make a tease and then not deliver on it, because that's just not good, not a good thing to do. Brodus Clay, I shook my head when I saw this last night at the Trenton Raw house show, and that was the first time I'd seen it, and it was one of those head and hand moments, but I guess it's still entertaining. Brodus Clay is now endorsing Hot Pockets, a little microwavable meal snack type thing, along with Snoop Dogg, Lion, whatever he's calling himself these days. I know everybody knows him as Snoop Dogg. He's calling himself Snoop Lion, doing a whole reggae thing now, but come on, it's Snoop. It's been that way, 93. The LBC, all that stuff that I'm not going to attempt to rap or anything like that. But anyway, they're playing off of Snoop's song Drop It Like It's Hot with the slogan and song Pocket Like It's Hot. And somebody got paid probably six figures to come up with that. I am in the wrong business, apparently. Oh, man. No, I shouldn't say that. I'm in the right business because I love doing this and love talking to you out there. And I certainly appreciate it, to say the least. Also, a look back at something from SmackDown last night. For those who missed it, might have been at the Trenton show. They actually had I'll see if I can get the video for this too. The Miz TV had Daniel Bryan and Kane on as guests, and it turned into an argument that brought out the Big Show and Dolph Ziggler, and Booker T came out to presumably book a handicap match, which Miz felt the need to do a Booker T impression and make fun of, but it turns out he booked a tag match of Daniel Bryan and Kane against Big Show and Dolph Ziggler, and then booked Miz against Randy Orton, which was a little bit of a twist. Not exactly sure of how good the just got a message. Please don't rap. Thank you, Steve, for chiming in on that. Always appreciated. No, I have no intention of doing so. Maybe you can hear a little bit from in the overnight as far as the the chart toppers that I do, but you're not going to hear it from me. That's for sure. Singing on a wrestling talk show, I don't know. That just doesn't quite work out so well. At least that's what I've been told. I don't know. Some other people may not think so. Yes. Anyway, that's going to do it for me. Thanks so much to Wild Bill Melody for turning the dials and pushing the buttons and keeping me on the air here as he has done for, well, he's done that for me for about 3.5 years now and done that for the show for about 13 and a half now. It's actually a little closer to 13 3/4. I don't know. 13 2/3 maybe if we really want to get technical, but who needs to do that? Stat geeks like me, that's who. Anyway, I'll be back in 2 weeks. We'll have a review of Hell in the Cell. And, of course, see, I'm doing it again. Vince, it's contagious. Doggone it, Vince McMahon. Hell in a Cell, not the Cell. Oh, Vince McMahon. If only somebody could say to you, you're fired. But it doesn't look like it's going to happen. What is going to happen, though? Bill Melody and the Country Music Hall. That's coming up next here on BCB.